Hey everybody, welcome back. What am I saying? What's the video? I needed resuscitation after reading your wedding petty revenge stories. Come on. All of these submissions are from the official Charlotte Dobre Reddit thread, r/Charlotte Dobre YouTube. Go submit your stories, go get involved in the community, and you just might see them on the channel. Dumped my ex-fiancé on our wedding day. Excuse-moi? Excuse-moi? This submission is from xrevive25. Hello everyone. Hi Charlotte, love your work and love everything you do for us. Oh, you're welcome, honey bunches. Sorry if I make grammatical mistakes, but English is not my first language. We shall allow it. It is okay. Thank you for the heads up. Story time. When I was in high school, I met the love of my life. Quotations. Let's call him Kevin. Kevin! We were in a relationship for about 7 years. After university, he popped with the question, and everything was perfect. We both came from wealthy families, and at the time, we had stable jobs. We were doing pretty well together, but I was more ambitious for building our future. I bought a house for us, didn't want our parents to pay for our wedding, and he was furious. And that's when things started to get weird. My skin color is dark, by the way. 2 months before our wedding, he started to make comments about how dark my skin was. Whenever we went to the beach, he was constantly complaining about how much darker I was going to be. Okay. I already hate him. I don't like this guy at all. I was in shock. Me and his sister are good friends to this day. One day I was with her and told her about the comments that he was making constantly about my appearance, and she was in shock. The first thing she told me was, "Girl, I think he has someone else." Could be, could be. I mean, why else is he trying to change you, you know? Like, why propose to someone that you have a problem with how they look? You shouldn't even have that problem to begin with, but it's like, I'm sorry, you know what you're getting yourself into. At first, I didn't think that was the case because we've never had problems except his comments, but she was sure about that. Yeah, it's kind of weird when they start like making comparisons. You know, they're like,
"Oh, why can't you wear stuff like that? Why can't you wear your hair like that?"
You know, I once had a dude that I was dating that was like, he would tell me little offhand comments about, oh, like, you should get this dress. And he'd show me like a screenshot of a dress that he liked. And I would go on to like his Instagram following. I did. You know, go through and like see the people he was following. And I'd see like an influencer, like a female fashion influencer. I'd click on her profile and lo and behold, she was wearing the dress that he told me he'd like to see me wear. Huh. Okay. Yeah, that relationship didn't last. That wasn't Mike, by the way. It's not Mike. His phone number was on my name. His car was a gift from me, and that's when it hit me. I called the mobile operator and wanted the phone records and messages. Oh wow. Oh wow. Tell me he was not stupid enough to cheat when you were the one paying his phone bill? Oh Lord. Let me tell you, I was speechless. Love poems, planning for their future, etc., etc. His job was associated with traveling, and all his messages were how good the trip they've had was. Oh.
I'm just going on a work trip.
To see my mistress? I was devastated, but something in me just clicked. I was sure I was going to expose his sorry. One night, he was sleeping. I took his phone, sent all the photos to myself with her, and the plotting began. On our wedding day. Oh girl. Everything looked like we were in a fairy tale. Our friends and families were happy. His vows went and it was my turn. Thank God you didn't wait until you were already married. Like something inside me was like, oh, did she like put up some photos at the reception? No, thank God. Okay, good. I'm glad that it was during the vows when you didn't actually, but like still, wow. To go through all of that planning, you're getting married, the money is spent, you're in front of all your family and friends. But I mean, that's dedication. That is the dedication to the petty. Well, since I was planning the whole wedding, I made sure we got a big screen for the show. Took his hand, turned him around and said, babe, no words could describe what I feel for you. So I'm just gonna show you and expose every single picture and every single message that I found. He started screaming, calling me names, crying, begging me to turn it off. And I stood there laughing, gave him the remote control and left. Wow. 6 months after that, I found the father of my child. We are married for about 4 years now and expecting a second child. My ex-fiance is jobless and living with his parents. Oh, that was delectable. You really waited until like the most opportune moment, eh? Honestly, the best time to dish out some petty revenge is when you look absolutely amazing. Like, think about that for him. He's looking at you in a wedding dress, looking stunning. And then you drop this bomb and it's like, oh, sorry, you thought you could have this? You thought this was yours? No, no, no. No, no, no. It's the audacity for me. Like, how are you not embarrassed that this woman basically gave you this wonderful life, bought the house that you live in, paid for the wedding, pays for your phone, and you go and you do this to her behind her back? There was no part of you that was thinking,
Oh, maybe I shouldn't use the phone that my fiance bought for me to cheat with?
I'm really curious to know what this other woman looked like. Like, was he comparing her to you? That's why he wanted to change you? I hate him. We hate him! We hate him! It is decided. Wedding drama served flaming hot. This submission is from Spice Weasel OG. The spiciest weasel. I label this petty revenge, but it also falls under wedding drama llama. I don't know why I keep saying wedding llama. Wedding drama llama and mother-in-law from hell. It's a threefer, a terrible threefer. Allow me to crack my knuckles. Knuckles? Knuckles. My knuckles. My nuptials for these knuckles. This story is about my mother-in-law. We do not get along at all. To be honest, she's a pretty awful person and she has been no contact with most of my partner's family since before I met her. I believe 2 of her sisters are all she has contact with, and I know one of the 2 is low contact as of 2 years ago. Anywho, that's helpful context, thank you for that. When my partner and I met, mother-in-law lived in the same city. A few years into our relationship, she moved out of state. We got engaged and married during this time. She and her husband, not my partner's dad, flew in for the wedding. A month before the wedding, to help with the wedding. They stayed with the aunt she's now low contact with. And I'm still a bit sour about all of this because she made that month miserable. So much unnecessary stress. We did not ask for, no need her help in any way. We paid for everything ourselves and my side of the family catered the food. My favorite aunt made the maid of honor's dress and I paid for the dresses for the bridesmaids. My youngest sister did our hair and makeup. Everything was paid for via our savings. We set aside funds specifically for our wedding. Mother-in-law had something to say about everything. Always about how she did it for her 2 failed marriages.
Look at me. Look how successful I was. I had 2 marriages, not just one.
Like she's saying, like,
Oh, I got 2 degrees.
2 marriages is not necessarily what I would call successful, but what she would have wanted. It was a constant barrage of insults. I'd gotten very good at avoiding her or pawning her off on literally anyone else. I love that. I love a good pawn off. You know what I mean? Like when you're done with a conversation and you're just, oh, I'm sorry, have you met so-and-so? Oh, yes, she's, you know, blah, 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 introduce, blah, 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 and then slowly back away. Love a good pawn off. Come the day of the wedding, she did everything in her power to take over. She walked my partner to the altar and stayed there. She stayed there. Why is she staying there? Does she think she's getting married? When I made it to the altar, she tried to stay standing next to me. Not with the rest of the wedding party, but next to me. In front of my partner. What? Oh, that's so weird. How are you not embarrassed? What are you doing up there? This is when you get someone to go out there and be like, sorry, she's a little crazy. Come here, Nana. Come here. The officiant had to tell her to sit her down. Her husband had to drag her to her seat. My partner looked rightly horrified. The wedding continued with a wave of murmurs. When it came time for pictures, she inserted herself in every one. I was pretty pissed off by this time, but I was doing my best just to keep smiling until the end. I was determined not to let it ruin our day. My partner was trying to manage their grandma. She's a whole supervillain on her own. Pot, meat kettle. They were trying to keep her away from their dad. She had a personal vendetta against the man because he divorced mother-in-law and shacked up with his guy friend. Yes, the man was gay. No, they never admitted they were a couple to the family because his side of the family is extremely religious. Oh, this is a fun cluster you've got here, babes. Toward the end of the night, I wanted pictures with my sisters and maid of honor. Only my sisters and maid of honor. They were my bridesmaids as well, after all. Oh God. Mother-in-law insisted on being in these pictures too. She would not accept a no. Will she accept a kick in the caboose? God, how delulu are you? Sorry, I needed to regain myself. I'm on the verge of tears while we were posing in front of a beautiful gazebo with dozens of candles lit among floral arrangements on a table in the background. I'm exhausted and quietly losing my cool. I'm told my face was telling all sorts of stories by this point though. Mother-in-law decided to stand right next to me, trying to push out my maid of honor who, like the badass she is, wasn't having it. Yeah, as she should. Like, I understand you not wanting to, like, cause drama on the wedding day. It's not a fun thing to get riled up when it's supposed to be like a happy day. This is definitely something that you would want bridesmaids for. The bridesmaids are there to corral the sheep and to spray the white gowns with red wine. It was a very childish match of moving in front of each other. Several snaps in and mother-in-law starts screaming. A rancid smell starts filling the air. Wait, what? What rancid smell? Did she poop herself? Did someone poo? Did someone poo? The whole scene devolves into chaos. We are trying to figure out what's wrong. Dear reader, this is the moment I knew my soul was bound for hell, because when that woman whipped around and her flaming locks came around to smack her in the face, I swear I saw it in slow motion. Oh God. Oh, it wasn't poo. It was fire. It was fire. Turns out one of the candles was far closer to the edge of the table than the rest. Totally there by accident, right? No one has any idea how it happened. I don't buy that story, but I'm letting the oversight go. Okay, we don't encourage arson on this channel. We don't. Mother-in-law's wig caught fire. Yes, her cheap wig went right up in flames. I actually did cry at this. I cried because I was trying so desperately not to laugh at the scene of my mother-in-law being beaten with a table stash and flowers. Oh my lord! I would have paid serious coin to see that. I honestly didn't know how to react and I was overwhelmed by it all. They get her hair put out, refusing to let me help because they didn't want me to go up in flames or ruin my dress. Fair. You stay far away from that. I like how they're like beating her instead of just grabbing a fire extinguisher. We're trying to put the fire out. Shut the oh! Shut the out! You're on fire! You're on fire! I'm trying to save your life. With a tear-stained face, I ask her if she's okay. She's freaking out, rightfully. Yes. My maid of honor steps in to help and I excuse myself. Mother-in-law is tended to and I barely make my escape to the bathroom where I proceed to lose my laughing. I text the photographer who informs me that he did, in fact, get a picture of my my mother-in-law's wig on fire. He tells me when I'm ready, we can continue without mother-in-law's interference, as she's been escorted to urgent care. We must urgently care for this. Such an unfortunate accident. She was fine. Cheap wig was all that caught fire. Good. Love to see that. Very happy for that. Good. She suffered a minor burn on her cheek, but that's it. I adore telling the story of my mother-in-law's brush with death. Her words at our wedding. The cherry on top of this karma sundae. Oh yes. Oh, it gets better. Thanks in whole to my partner. Oh my goodness. You cannot tell me that it gets more scrumptious than this, bestie. This is fantastic. Our photographer included the flaming hair picture in our digital package. We laugh about it whenever she's a shill pill. One day, years later, mother-in-law came over for dinner and complained that we had pictures of our family on display, but none of her. Deceased relatives and the kids. She made us think about how she felt hurt that we don't have any of her, despite knowing so many of them exist. My awesome partner, having had enough of their mother, let me guess. You put up the one with her head on fire? He printed the flaming hair picture, framed it, and stuck it on the wall above the entry table. It greets you the moment you enter our home. Partner invites her back over for dinner, says nothing. She knocks, is let in, dropped her purse on the entry table, paused when she saw it, and donned the suck on a lemon pucker, but never said a word about it. It's been there for 13 years now. Every now and then my partner gets a new tacky, god-awful frame for it, and it surprises me. I love my partner so much. Oh my goodness, this warms my heart. What an amazing story, my dear. I'm glad that he gets a new frame for it every time, because like, you know when you have like picture frames up and they get kind of like, you just kind of forget to look at them. It's like you kind of forget that they're there and they don't hold as much meaning anymore. But if you keep changing the picture frame, you're reminded. What a wonderful story. Thank you so much for sharing, Spice Weasel OG. You are so lucky that you have a partner that recognizes how awful his mother is. Like, there's so many people that go out of their way to defend their mother when they do awful things to their partner. And it's just like, ugh, it makes you kind of resent them, you know? Charlotte, this one! Yes, I saw it, my love. I saw it. Don't worry. Karma is a... And she collects her debts. She sure does. When karma comes knocking, better get out your change purses. All right, we got one left. We got one more story, and I saved the best for last. This submission is from Kimberlyn 008.
Mr.
Kimberlyn 008.
Hi, Kimberlyn. Thanks for submitting your story. My friend wore white to our friend's wedding, then got upset when that friend wore the same dress to her wedding. The math ain't mathing, bestie. Make it make sense. That's how you know it's a slight, you know? That's how you know they did it on purpose. So, this is my favorite petty revenge wedding drama I've ever borne witness to. I, 28 female, have two female friends in my immediate circle. Sarah, 28 female, and Taylor, 27 female, who were engaged at the same time. Sarah had only a maid of honor, me, and Taylor had her 5 sisters as her bridesmaids. During the planning process, anytime Sarah would have an event, dress shopping, bridal shower, etc., Taylor would go out of her way to remind the other girls not to wear white because it's only for the bride. At these same events, Sarah would mention something she's doing for the wedding, and Taylor would pipe up and say,
Well, at my wedding, we're doing this, but that's cute too.
Passive aggressive like that. Oh God, just rubbing it in the face, you know, like,
Well, my ring is so flashy, I don't think I could ever take it on vacation. Well, my wedding is in a castle, so... Is it?
That's the only appropriate response.
Is it?
Sarah's wedding day comes around and Taylor shows up in a white dress with some flower details on it. But it is, for the most part, white. So Taylor is the one that would go out of her way to remind other girls not to wear white, and yet she shows up to the wedding wearing white. Make it make sense, bestie. The math ain't mathing. Now, I'm of the opinion that no matter the pattern on the dress, don't wear white, but that's just me. Sarah's mother confronted Taylor about the dress, and she said it was fine to wear because it had a flower pattern. It wasn't all white. Okay, so what we're picturing is white dress with like flowers that are a different color on it. Okay, so I know that people sometimes kind of think that if it's like a white dress with like pattern flowers on it, that it might be a pass. However, I think it would be better safe than sorry. And if you're gonna wear something like that, maybe run it by the bride beforehand. But otherwise, better safe than sorry. Like, don't wear something white, you know? She repeated the same thing when Sarah finally saw her and basically asked, WTF? After hearing her explanation, Sarah just smiled and said she understood and to have fun. Taylor talked about her own wedding to anyone who would listen. Of course she did. Because she's trying to make it all about her, hence the dress. Fast forward to Taylor's wedding. Sarah shows up wearing the exact same dress. And let me guess. Taylor didn't like that, did she? Because she was being a... And she didn't want to admit that she was being a... But she was. She made excuses for it. And now you're being a... Rightfully so, Sarah. And she doesn't like it. I fully support being a... When it's warranted. Like, 100% be a... As I'm sure you can predict, Taylor was furious. Oh, what? No way. Never could have guessed that. And cursed at her for wearing a white dress to her wedding. Sarah brilliantly responded with the brightest smile on her face. But don't you remember? You wore this to my wedding. You were totally right about the pattern. It's so beautiful. Wow. Wow. Taylor denied wearing that dress and said hers was mostly flowers with a little bit of white. So Sarah pulls out a printed off photo of her and Taylor at the wedding with her in that dress. She just says, see, now we're twins. Hee hee. See, this is what I'm saying. That's how you know that it was a slight. The rest of the night, anytime someone asked her about the dress or pointed out that it was white, she simply pulled out the photo and showed it off as well as her other wedding photos that she printed and brought with her. The two have not spoken since, and I will continue to praise my friend for having the lady balls I will never have. She's got big, hanging, busting balls. Big lady balls. Edit, for those asking what the dress looked like, I posted a pic in the comments. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God for the context. I'm looking for the dress. There it is. Wait. No, that is okay, guys, this is a white dress. This is a white dress. I've even seen wedding dresses that have like patterned flowers on it like this. This is a white dress, okay? But like I said, if you're confused and you don't know if it's appropriate to wear to a wedding, maybe some brides would be cool with it. Ask her. Ask the bride. I would have printed the pic on a t-shirt and wore it over the dress to the event. Oh man. She should have worn the dress. Their mates should have worn the t-shirts. All right. You made your point. You're making your point. It would have been funny, but I think the dress is a nice point to make, okay? Not too much, okay? Not too much. Sarah crushed it. Taylor knew what she was doing when she wore the dress. She just didn't think Sarah would have the guts to get revenge. Well, she thought wrong, didn't she? Imagine being so insecure that you try to show up your friend at her wedding and then have the unmitigated gall to be offended when it's done to you with the exact same dress. I mean, it's just proof that she did it on purpose. Like, if she can get mad that someone did that when she did it to someone else, how are you not embarrassed? You are a hypocrite, my dear. She is the queen of petty. We are not worthy. We are not worthy of this petty. This is fantastic. You guys have some of the craziest stories. And believe me, I have been doing like wedding petty revenge and wedding drama stories for years now. Some of the stuff that you guys have been posting is like the best I have ever read. So thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. Don't forget to join the Reddit thread and post your stuff. Subscribe.